People, deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, in some cases, good night. Now, the Euros is over, the Copa America is over, the under-19s Euro is still going, funny enough, people, and so the football never stops for me. Obviously, the boys, where Arsenal are concerned, are returning back to training, dependent on if they participated in any competitions, and the gears are being put into motion to prepare for the 2024-25 season. Obviously, while all of this has gone on / going on, there's still transfer news. There's obviously every team in the Premier League looks to sign players and improve their side. Now, selfishly, where Arsenal are concerned, we hope to get the Calafiori deal over the line. I think I speak for every player, every fan. Apologies when I say we'd love a central midfielder, a winger, a striker, and maybe just some ultimate additions to bolster our squad. Arteta did say a few months ago, we've got one of the smallest squads in the league. Now, I rate Mikel Arteta. I rate what he's doing. I rate what he's doing individually and collectively in line with this project, and that extends to those above him. So if they sit here and say, as I said, I'm praising them. If they sit there and say we got the smallest squad, then you lot are too smart to make that as a mistake. And I think we coped with injuries. I do think people downplay injuries where Arsenal were concerned last season. Of course, we didn't have what Chelsea had and what Man United had, but we missed key players and chinks in the armor. Again, the Calafiori deal, we're going to get into that. It could potentially have broken down, but we didn't have a consistent left back in line with injuries. We had a lot of different midfield partners, and that has to correlate to the form of Martinelli, people, if I'm honest with you, on top of obviously him needing to improve. Now, just as I alluded to, Arsenal have been linked with João Felix, Nico Williams, Mikel Merino. The Calafiori deal allegedly could be broken down or has hit a spanner in the works. That's, in my opinion, means we're getting closer to it. Apparently an offer has been rejected for Smith Rowe, and Eddie Nketiah is still drawing interest, people. So yeah, man, and where outgoings are concerned, obviously we've got some money from the Omari Hutchinson deal to Ipswich from Chelsea. Mika Berth has left. Lokonga and Tavares have officially left in some capacity as well. So we're getting a move on, and where the Eddie Nketiahs, the Reece Nelsons, the Aaron Ramsdales, they're still linked with football clubs. Nelson's actually linked with West Ham. So if you give me a second, people, don't forget to hit the like button, get the creative juices flowing, and comment any thoughts, questions, talking points, opinions, video ideas you've got. I can share my screen and we'll get into it. Now, our first stop, actually, people, thank you for sharing the screen, is The Athletic. The Athletic, they do their little transfer roundup stuff. What has happened with Arsenal this week? As we know, Lokonga has completed a season-long loan move to Spain, where he'll play for Sevilla. There's a 12 million euros in brackets, 10.1 million pounds, $13.1 million, people. Quite the hit on Lokonga. Purchase clause included in his contract. If they exercise that option, Arsenal will retain a 25% sell-on clause if he moves on from there. As we know, prior to the official announcement where Nuno Tavares to Lazio is concerned, he was training with them. He's officially tied up the loose ends where that's concerned, and he's currently playing in Lazio, and that's all been confirmed. There's a mandatory 9 million euros clause, people, and apparently we're going to hold a significantly sell-on clause of greater than 25%. So, it is what it is. We took an L with those players. We've kind of broken even, didn't we? Sign Nuno Tavares for that kind of fee. We've taken the hit with Lokonga. It is what it is in that regards, people. Tommy Setford, as you know, people, an English under-20 international who plays for Ajax, has a year on his deal. Apparently, Arsenal are close to completing his signature, and he's set to join for a fee of under 1 million euros. There's also some reports saying that he's scheduled this week for a medical. We did have an offer rejected for Dan Bentley of Wolves. Apparently, we're looking to go for that, and we're apparently going to be short of experienced keepers for the upcoming pre-season tour. We are actually, because Ramsdale, I mean, in theory, you could get back to training, and maybe, if Raya's still on holiday, Raya could also come back, but you could come back quickly, remind Mikel Arteta what you're on. You'd imagine the Declan Rices, the Sakas, the Ramsdales, Raya's, Salibas, they will all join us on our tour of our pre-season tour in America, people. And one does wonder, I don't want to be the one for doom and gloom, and I'm exaggerating here, but you look at the backdrop going into this upcoming season. Obviously, it's the 16th of July, but, we haven't officially signed any outfield players. We was getting them in relatively early last season. I don't know if it correlates. Obviously, Saka and Declan Rice, are coming off the back of a heavy campaign at club level where they've played a lot of minutes, and obviously for the international team. So one does wonder what the backdrop is going to look like for Arsenal. But it is what it is, people, in that regards. We're still trying to push through the signing of Italy international Calafiori, but broadly the strategy is to sell those deemed surplus to requirements and replace them with players of a higher caliber. We know that, and we know how good Calafiori is. Again, we know if it wasn't Calafiori, the player most aggressively linked with Arsenal Football Club is Mikel Merino, who is obviously, just like David Raya, a Euro 2024 champion with Spain, people. So yeah, central midfield, left back, two areas we need to improve. And you'd imagine Mikel Merino would play on the left-hand side. You don't know, because Declan Rice did play that left 8, but you'd imagine Mikel Merino, Calafiori / an extended run for Timber at left back / in central midfield. Declan Rice probably on the right-hand side next to Saliba. Well, not next to Saliba, but next to the Benjamin Whites, the Salibas, the Odegaards, the Sakas. And for next season, we can't be lopsided, man. Like, you know, the season before the one that's just gone, that was the first time where Martinelli was scoring goals. Zinchenko, I think that was his first season in the inverted role. We was doing quite well, in my opinion. We was fair. We looked to threat down the left-hander right now. Obviously, we still look like a threat down the left-hand side. But I think all us Arsenal fans know if our right-hand side ain't really on it, there's issues there. If Arsenal decide to buy a wide player, Nico Williams remains the preferred candidate. However, the deal is not straightforward. Williams' 58 million euros release clause at Bilbao is required, I'm reading two things, to be paid up front. And there's serious interest from other clubs. And Barcelona seem to be the front runners for that. It seems like they've been flirting with him all tournament. You'd imagine Gavi, Pedro, Yalmal have all been talking to him as well. And there was something to be said about his wages. I mean, when you play like how you've played for Bilbao and you play like how you played for Spain and scored in the final, bro, 200 grand a week, boy. It is what it is for an exciting player. And imagine having Martinelli, Williams, Saka, all the other players. We'd have some great options. In Williams' case, Arsenal feel they'll need to sell players from their front line to create space and capital for the Spain winger's arrival. Fair enough, but, you know, that could point towards someone like Gabriel Jesus, who I wouldn't get rid of yet, if I'm honest. Obviously, we're not going to sell Kai Havertz. I don't think we'll sell Trossard, but a lot of people like to say, oh, he's 29, sell him, all of that. You would imagine, you know, if you could get 30 odd million quid for Nketiah and, you know, anything from 10 to 30 million for Reece Nelson, indirectly that kind of covers it, if I'm honest with you. Obviously, Aaron Ramsdale and Kieran Tierney are keen to secure moves away from the football club. Nelson and Nketiah are likely to go on our tour, but their futures are still subject to speculation. If we scroll the way down again, big up all the other clubs, but nobody cares about what's going on there. What's this in relation to Gomares? I mean, we'd love to sign him, but 100 odd million fee, I can't see us spending that. I think there was something here in relation to Nico Williams as well, people. Obviously, no one cares about what Tottenham Hotspur are doing. Laporte did tell Catalan radio stations, people, that Barcelona could cope financially with the signing of Nico Williams. And they've learned from several sources close to the Barcelona squad that these comments have not gone down well with the players. I mean, unless you're playing in this position, you'd be shook, really. Some are disappointed while the club is asking for patience from players. Some of them have not been registered to play in La Liga. Fair enough. Anything else where Nico Williams is concerned? As it says there's growing interest in Nico Williams. He's obviously got quite the bond with Yalmal. Williams' entourage still sees the player spending another season in Bilbao, but with the Euros over, there could be movement. However, Barcelona's financial situation makes it unlikely a move to the Camp Nou could happen this summer. So, I mean, he could sit on his hands for another year at Bilbao. It wouldn't be the worst, but, you know, he's still linked with Arsenal, Chelsea, and obviously Barcelona. And one would wonder, had he have not signed that new deal, because his deal would have been running out next year, people. It would have been in his last 12 months heading into the summer, what the backdrop would have looked like there. Moving away from that, Eddie Nketiah is still wanted by Marseille, with League Art side keen to partner Arsenal striker with the man whose name will not be mentioned, people. Marseille won't go away, and I've said before, for Eddie Nketiah, it's the chance to play in the top league for a massive club. You know, religious football fans like Marseille. It's one of the biggest clubs in France. Play under De Zerbi, play regular football, and keep it moving in that regards, really. You know, De Zerbi's a great manager in his own right. But with them signing the man whose name can't be mentioned, and I know that guy can play in a bunch of roles in the front line, but is it necessarily an assurance they're going to sign Eddie Nketiah? Simultaneously, Aubameyang, who plays for Marseille and was once a teammate of Eddie Nketiah's at Arsenal, has also been linked with a move to the Middle East. So it could be one out, one in, people. Eddie needs to go and play football. Of the 38 games you played, you started just 10 last season, people. So, yeah, and I mean, how much did they say on the bid? It's quite unclear what Arsenal actually won in this article and what they've actually Marseille keen to part with, really. So yeah, obviously I think we're weak up front. It's an exaggeration because we got 91 Premier League goals, over 100 in all comps, but we've done that without a cold-hearted killer in front of goal, and there has been occasions, you know, you look in the Champions League where you need a bit of stardust. You look in the December period, you know, we need a cold-hearted killer. Obviously, Kai Havertz's form, if it continues, gives me confidence. I'll always back Gabriel Jesus, but he's never been a strong goal scorer. Trossard can play as a false nine, but I think he's better off the left-hand side. I don't know if there is a striker on the market, if we feel there's value for money, but a striker would have been high up my wish list. If you can't get that, you need to get another wide attacker. Had you not, if you're unable to get a wide attacker, people, we're in trouble, if I'm completely honest with you. And central midfield is of great parity. And, you know, if Eddie goes there, what? Marseille reached the semi-finals of the Europa League, so it's a big club, really and truly. They won't be playing in Europe, though, because they finished 8th. So it is what it is. From one Haylender to another, allegedly, Arsenal have rejected a bid from Fulham to sign Smith Rowe. The Cottagers are considering whether to increase their transfer offer as they look to improve their attack for the new campaign. Crystal Palace have been linked. He started 3 games last season for Smith Rowe. I mean, what were the 3 games? Luton was one, surely. I couldn't tell you the others, you know. Such is how stock's falling. It's a shame, man. And at 23, he needs to go and play football, man. The Gunners are thought to be open to offers for the 3-time England international as they look to cash in on a number of fringe players who have failed to nail down a spot in Mikel Arteta's team, people. Smith Rowe is under contract until 2026. So this is a pivotal time in and around negotiations for our number 10, in which you never know, he might get a new deal, but I think it's pretty telling that, you know, you look at Kieran Tierney, obvious reasons, Zinchenko, obvious reasons, and then Smith Rowe, they're all contracted until 2026. So the writing appears to be on the wall, but you lot know I'm a big fan of Smith Rowe. I hope that isn't the case. Romano has also chimed in and said Fulham are considering another proposal. There is also reports that say Smith Rowe is keen to stay at Arsenal, but regular football is his, and I think he's got a decision to is his intention, and he's got a decision to make. Arsenal are waiting to see if Fulham and Crystal Palace come with better offers for Smith Rowe. They value the player between 25 to 30 million pounds. I mean, he's got 2 years left on his deal. Had some injuries and can't stay fit, but I mean, come on, man, let's try and get a bit more. Didn't we reject 45 million in January for him, if I'm honest with you, because he will go somewhere, show his ability. Arsenal are understood to remain in negotiations with Bologna over their move for Calafiori, who could cost around 45 million. There's now a growing expectation that the deal will be done. Reports in Italy have said, people, while the deal could be done, it's kind of hit a stag. The man wants to move to the Premier League. Arsenal want him, he wants to move, but Bologna are dragging their feet and making it very difficult for a total agreement to be reached. And it says that the tug of war will continue this week. They want at least 50 million euros for the defender, not less, people. So we've got some bargaining to do, really and truly. Normally happens anyways. Reports in Italy indicate Arsenal are still certain they will get a deal over the line, but the game is not over yet, with Calafiori set to return to training at Bologna on July the 20th. So he's got 4 days until that. Calafiori has made it known he wants to try the Arsenal experience, and Bologna have made it known they will accommodate him, but on their terms, which is fair enough. Arsenal are still stuck at an offer of 45 million euros plus another 5 million euros in bonuses, but Bologna are concerned they will not get a fair price as Basel are entitled to 50%. I mean, it's great for Basel and you still make profit, but like, Bologna, you've got to look at, obviously, Arsenal got money like every English club. Try and get what you can, but why did you agree to 50% sell-on clause, essentially? Like, it's great business from Basel, if I'm honest with you. If Basel fail to drop their percentage this summer, then Arsenal may have to up their bid to around 60 million euros, probably. Bologna do not intend to sell for less than 30 million euros clean. So I think that means a guaranteed fee of 30 million euros, and then collective and individual achievements and all of that kind of stuff is where you make up the difference. Apparently, we did try and offer Kiwior as a somewhat a make weight. They're not listening to that. Kyrgios's future is still subject to speculation. Ben Jacobs has said Arsenal still want Calafiori, but negotiations are also relatively tough because Bologna are sticking to their asking price of around 50 million euros, which is 43 million quid. Arsenal are still deciding whether that is value for money or whether they'll decide to look elsewhere. Things are advanced between the two clubs, and the player is now waiting for Arsenal, so he's fully sold. He wants to move, and he's also aware Juventus are out of the race because they think the overall package is too expensive. So a couple of months before the window, Juventus were the front runners. They also had the player buy-in, but they've not indicated that they're not prepared to move at the 50 million euro asking price. Zinchenko, boy, it could be peak for you. But yeah, well, obviously we've gone over Kirill. Arsenal are plotting a move for Moreno, which we've seen. Check out the video I did yesterday, people. Apparently Sociedad want 20 million quid. Barcelona it seems like it's Arsenal and Barcelona linked with everybody, people. Barcelona could be looking to beat Arsenal to the Moreno capture. There are also some reports that are saying Moreno is waiting on Barcelona's potential offer for him before making a decision on his future. As we know, his contract is running out, hasn't signed a new deal. Sociedad have to let a man leave. He's on the last year of his contract, people. And where you look at his aerial duels, his progressive passing, he might not be a sexy signing, but it'd be a very competent one for us. He's the number one option, allegedly, for Barcelona to reinforce their midfield. Manchester City are still looking at Kimmich, people. They want a deputy/partner for Rodri. They want Bruno Guimaraes, but not for 100 million. So, yeah, we've been linked with Kimmich as well as Guimaraes. Fabian Ruiz, who had a fantastic Euros tournament, people. He still could be sold from Paris Saint-Germain, people. Surely that could be someone to look at, the 28-year-old for the left 8 row. And they're still linked with Destiny Doué and João Neves as well as Kimmich. Half the players linked with us as well. Linking and actually buying are two different things. In January, we were linked with Victor Rowe, people. Apparently, Barcelona are almost certain he'll leave this summer. I mean, to let him go without letting him go on loan first would be a madness, but could that be something for Arsenal to re-look at? Where Doué is concerned, Rennes wants 60 million euros plus add-ons. Realistic price around 45 to 50 million euros plus add-ons. Bayern are preparing a second bid. PSG also want to bid for the players soon. I mean, I think he's worth the money, but in line with our budget, which I'm not privy to, and I don't know what our budget is, I don't think we're going for him. Again, João Neves wants to leave Benfica and sign for Paris Saint-Germain. We were also linked with him as well. PSG also want to sign Osimhen, who was also linked with us. They've held talks with Napoli, but again, his 130 million euro clause, no one seems that they want to pay for such. Allegedly, company has made it his personal mission to get Doué to sign for Bayern Munich, people. Generational talent for me. I mean, I guess we tried to get João Felix on loan, people, but a few years ago, but I don't really believe this. Arsenal have now made a move for Atletico Madrid forward João Felix after Mikel Arteta demanded they attempt to sign the forward. I mean, it's a bit like Kai Havertz, you know. If Arteta wants him, fair enough. He does have, you know, in theory, he's got a great technical level. He's obviously got a lot of versatility and stuff like that. And even though he hasn't hit the projected heights when he was coming through, you know, the very fact he's still a Portuguese international, still played for Atletico, Barcelona, Chelsea, there's something there. But is it another one that falls into the Jadon Sancho's, the Marcus Rashford kind of camp in that, yes, they're good players, but it's almost like the illusion to the reality are different things, because whether you buy him permanently or on loan, that's a different thing, but it's going to be expensive. And on top of him just being a great player, which he evidently is, what does he solve? Like, what does he solve? Yes, he can play as a 9. Is he got a guarantee of getting those goals? He can play as a 10. Is there a guarantee he can play out wide? Is there a guarantee? I don't know. If Arteta wants him, fair enough. Allegedly, we've made an attempt. Is that Ollie Watkins, Osimhen and Brian Brobley have all been linked with us, as we know, people. We're going to have to see exactly what's going to go on. But I don't buy, for what it's worth, I don't buy the Felix links, but who knows? As I said earlier, Nuno Tavares has completed his loan move to Lazio, people. We wish him all the best. Simultaneously, Lokonga's headed to Spain with Sevilla. Big up you lot, because you've completed these moves early. It's not one of them where you go on pre-season with Arsenal, you know you're just fulfilling your obligations, you're getting in early, trying to impress your manager early. We wish you all the best. More so for Lokonga than Tavares, because Tavares is an obligation. He's gone now, isn't it? Lokonga, we need you to do something, really. We can't have you having that mixed campaign like for Arsenal, Crystal Palace and Luton, where you showed some good moments and some not good moments, people. Barcelona are set to open talks with Nico Williams this week, according to Fabrizio Romano, people. We've gone over Williams at length. It's a bit boring now. Fabio Vieira has been linked with moves away. Apparently, Arteta is keen to keep him. So that probably means Smith Rowe out and him in. What else have we got? West Ham allegedly have opened initial talks with Arsenal over Reece Nelson, people. Arsenal expected to cash in on a 24-year-old this summer. We did see previous reports that he's keen to assess all of his options. He did sign a new deal last summer. He's under a lengthy contract, so he's until 2027. He featured only 15 times in the Premier League last season. And the minute he was always on the bench, but the minute everyone was fit, you weren't in the matchday squad. So potentially does need to move on, and a bit like Smith Rowe and Nelson, go and kick on now. I would love us to sign Dali Almo. Manchester City links won't go away. They've been aggressively linked with him, and apparently they're keen to get that one over the line. So we'll have to see. But where João Felix, Smith Rowe, Nico Williams, Moreno, Almo, Fabian Ruiz, Kimmich, Neves, I'm trying to remember everything. Calafiori, Kivior, Lokonga, Tavares, everything we've discussed, and actually all the little sound bites I went through without necessarily talking about transfers. Let me know your thoughts. Obviously, any emerging news, you're going to get live streams, videos, etc. Turn on your notification bells, people, because at the time of making this video, it's 10:33 a.m. people, and I will be doing a video with Cecil of AFTV. There's always bits and pieces on my platform, so turn on your notification bells, subscribe if you haven't. Don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment, people, man. Let's boost this YouTube algorithm, man. We need to get just over 9,000 more subscribers, and we've got 70k, and we're finally at the big leagues, people. And then the push to 100k. So yeah, most importantly, you lot blessed for listening. I'm out, man. Peace.